directly to the network port on the back of the video recorder. And those ones that were the same brand as the video recorder, they started to pop up. We did not have to do any configurations on them. All those other ones that were not the name brands did not pop up. So we went out to say, let's connect all those cameras to a switch, and then we're going to see how we can find the IP address. So what I have here is I have different types of cameras. I have a little mini bullet. I have a multi-sensor camera. This is made by a company called Avigilon. It's a multi-sensor camera. So you've got 3 different cameras in one housing. I have cameras from Hanwha. This is also a bullet camera. I have this one from GSD. So this is the GSD one. It's the active deterrent camera. I have the same one from Axis, from Hikvision. There is another one, multiple of them. So this is from Hikvision. That's a PTZ, pan tilt zoom camera. I have this one from Uniview. So this is a Uniview camera. Looks pretty much the same. I have an Axis camera. This camera is made by Axis. And I have one of that one here as well. And then I have the one from Inaxis. It's the camera called the Legend brand. I have one of them. And finally, I have the TP-Link. So today we're going to try and understand how we can use the different IP utilities to try and discover cameras on the network. So as you can see, I have multiple cameras connected to the switch that I have. So this is the switch that I'm using today. And this is a power over Ethernet switch. When we take a close look at the back, all the lights are lit up. This is an 8-port power over Ethernet switch. So all the devices that are connected are on and running. I'm going to pull up one of the IP utilities. And yesterday I said, if you're looking for the IP utility, all you have to do is go on Google, type the camera name, and you would find it. So in this way, let's say I wanted to use this camera that is from GSD. All I had to do is go on Google from here. I pull up Chrome, and if I don't know what the name is, what I'm going to do is maybe you want to go on landscape on that. Yeah, because we'll be doing a lot of the work here. And so we're going to go on landscape. Let me know where you're watching from. I even forgot to start. That's my signature. Let me know the countries. I know 4D camera is online. 4D camera is from the Gambia. And so, yeah. Let me know where you're watching from. And I know Christian is online as well. If Christian is online, give me a thumbs up. All right? If Christian is on, let's see a thumbs up. 4D is on. 4D, give me a thumbs up as well.
What a good dashboard for viewing all your cameras, bro.
Sorry?
What a good dashboard for viewing all your cameras, bro.
All a good.
Probably he's talking about that one.
Oh. Yeah. So, let's see. Is this thing charging? Yeah. It's plugged in. Okay, that's good. It's plugged in and it's charging. Yesterday I forgot and I left it on. So where are people watching us from?
Philippines today. We got one from
Oh, we've got from the Philippines. Yeah. Okay, that's good. So Philippines is
Ghana, Uganda, Lagos, Nigeria, the mighty Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, Ghana.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's say I pick up a random camera. This one.
Somebody from Sweden as well.
From Sweden.
I think we have from Sweden.
Did we have any of the
One guy.
one guy before, right? Okay. So this camera is a camera from Legend, and I have it plugged in here. I don't know what the camera tool is. It's a new camera, as you can see. what I'm going to go is I'm going to go on to Google and I'm going to type Legend, Legend, Legend IP camera utility. So I typed Legend, and it already says download Inaxis software. So this Legend camera is made by a company called Inaxis. And Inaxis, they're in Montreal. They're neighbors in Montreal. So just by going down a little bit, you have to do some search, or you can go on their website. So let's go on the Inaxis website and see if we can find the tool. And under the download center, let's see if we can see what the camera tool is. And that's this first one here. Right, we see that's the first one there. So we can download that and you install it. Anytime you install it, you want to run this as administrator. And also, one thing that I also found out is if you have firewall stand on your laptop, most of the times it's going to block these discovery tools because the discovery tool sends a broadcast. And one thing that firewalls don't like is a broadcast. They'll kill it right now. So if you have it installed and nothing is working, you just want to go into your firewall settings and turn it off. If you have an antivirus as well, you want to go and allow the traffic to go through. Sometimes if you really don't know how to use it, just go turn off the antivirus briefly whilst you're adding the camera, and after that you can do that. So here, I downloaded and I installed the one from Inaxis. It is called the Device Manager. So I downloaded and I installed the software called the Device Manager. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to run it as administrator here. So it's going to go and pull up the software, and then we're going to see if it would be able to detect that camera. Now, it's asking me permission. On the bottom of the screen here, it's going to be asking me whether I really want to install that. So do you want this to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? I'm going to say yes, because that's what I want to do. And it's going to bring up that. So let me maximize this here. And just by doing it, you see it's found a camera on it. It has an IP address of 192.168.1.10. But it also told me what the MAC address is. It's an IP camera. The version that it's using is version 500.R release 012, etc., etc. It also tells me what the HTTP port is, the Hypertext Terminal Protocol. That port is using. The TCP port is this. ONVIF port is 80. It tells me the model number, the release date, etc., etc. What I can also do from this software is I can assign an IP address to that camera, right? You can do that. So for me to be able to verify, if I wanted to make sure that this was the camera I was working with, one of the first things I wanted to check was to make sure that the model is the same. And the model on this ends with Alpha Delta Whiskey Frank. So Alpha Delta Whiskey Frank. So that's it. Alpha Delta Whiskey Frank, AWDF. Next, I'm going to check the MAC address and see what the last 4 digits on the MAC address is. I just have to find out where the MAC address is. Or is that written here? It's so small. Let me see. At least the serial number is a little bit bigger than that. At least that one, I can see that one and read it. The serial number that I can see here ends with 24924. So let's just make sure. Where is the serial number? Is the serial number anywhere here? At least if I keep scrolling, maybe the serial number is going to be there. No, it doesn't show the serial number. Maybe I can just use my phone to try and zoom in onto that and see. So B1 DF. See that one? Okay, so it's B1 1D. So that's it. But that will tell you the camera that you're working with. You're going to confirm. You're going to confirm that with the information that you're getting to make sure that this is the correct one you're going to program. So now I know very well that this camera has an IP address of 192.168.1.10. But during yesterday's labs, we said camera number 1 was supposed to be 55.11. So let's assume that this is going to be our camera number 2 that we're going to program. So this is going to be 55.12. But right now what I have is this. I am able to change it. So look here, someone was asking yesterday that if you have 100 cameras, are you able to do them as a batch? I said yes. But if you do them as a batch, you have to know which one is which. It's going to all populate. This software from InAccess, the device manager, also allows you to do a batch configuration. When you look here, you can see it. Where is it? Batch. Okay, so here. So if you have a bunch of cameras, you can do a batch modification on that as well. So first of all, if this is the IP address that I want to change, what I want to do is I'm going to put a check mark on that camera that I want to work with. Once I put that there, I can see that IP address. No, if I'm doing the batch modification, it's going to ask me where I'm going to start from. The begin IP is going to be 2.113, or you can change it. So if I wanted it to start from 55.11 all the way 55.12, 13, 14 with that, I could also do that as well from here. Once you finish, it will tell you how many of them failed and how many of them also were successful. What I'm going to try and do is we're going to use a different way to change the IP address instead of having this one that is showing you everything. On this tab here, you are also able to do firmware updates. You're able to do different things. You select the camera that you want to do the firmware update from here, and you can do that, etc. If you want to do some further configuration from here, you could also come in here and do that. It's going to require the password. You can put the old password here and also modify a few things that you want from here. And this is going to be in regards to this particular camera here. So that's just what you could do. You could also do some bandwidth calculations from here. You have to bring in the cameras, and it's going to tell you how much bandwidth is taken and how much storage you might also need. So this is a tool that you are able to explore and see what you're also able to do. You can do a few configurations in here by clicking on the system settings and select the language that you want this software to be in, that you can also do whatever you want to do with this. So it's got a few, let me just close this. That's not where I wanted to go. Just popped it up. Microsoft just brings everything. That's why I hate this thing. Why is that? Oh, it's that, yeah. Right, so once you can download these things, I'm not going to waste too much time and go into detail because it's different from each camera manufacturer. But like I said, you can download these and you can go through each and every one of them and play with it and see what it is, and we can ask questions around it. So now that I've identified that the first camera is 192.168.1.10, what we learned yesterday was that if I found that my camera number 2 has to change to an IP address of 12, but I found out that it's 192.168.1.10. So what I'm going to do is download that information to my laptop, did a broadcast, it found out what the current IP address is. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my laptop. That's the switch. That camera is connected to it from here, and this is connected to my laptop. I'm going to go to my laptop, go to the network settings that I have, and I'm going to change it to match currently what is here. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's take a look. So I'm going to go here and go to my laptop's settings. You can do that by going to Control Panel. So on the bottom here, you just type Control Panel. And once you're there, you go to Network and Internet Settings, and then you can go to Change Adapter Options. So this is the network that we're dealing with. Right-click on it, go to Properties, and TCP/IP version 4. Once I'm there, I have an IP address of 55.3. What I can also do is I'm going to change this, but to prevent me from always going back and forth changing it, I know the default IP address that I'm going to be working on is the 55 network, so 192.168.55. So I'm going to go to this place called Advanced. So once I go to Advanced, that's where I'm going to go. Notice how I have two IP addresses here. I can add multiple addresses here, and this way I don't have to always come back and be switching between that. It's not too efficient. So the IP address of the...
Can I ask them like if they are able to understand with these tricks? Because it's coming really small.
It's small, right?
So is it better to put that on that?
On the big projector?
Yeah.
On the big, because I've been switching back and forth. Yeah. Hey, you guys, he was telling me that the picture is not the greatest. We're trying to find a way to, can you zoom in? If maybe you can zoom in on, if I'm working on this area, maybe you can zoom in. Or if you can bring the camera close by, because we're doing this. That's what?
Yeah, I think it should be good.
Okay, yeah. You can zoom in, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is perfect.
This is better, right? Perfect, perfect. Thank you guys very much. Thank you. So what I'm doing here is, you notice how this is my laptop, right? I went on to network configurations, and I'm under TCP/IP. But I clicked on, what I did click on was advanced. So let's take a look. I clicked on the advanced here. Let me go back there, because probably when I was doing it, it was small. So let's start all over again. So what I did to get to this point was on the search button that was below there, I typed Control Panel. So CONTROL, before you even finish, it pops up there for you. You're going to tap Control Panel, and you want to go to Network and Internet Settings. Some of you, because this is clicked on, you might see something different. So go in here. When I say small icons, you see how I have all these. Some of you might have this, and this would have a bunch. But what you're looking for is the Network and Sharing Center. That's what you want. So you click on that, and then it brings you here. These are the different network adapters that you have. But you want to go and say Change Adapter Settings. So on Change Adapter Settings, that is where I'm going to change the IP addresses. I have two adapters. Because this laptop has a Wi-Fi built into it, this is my Wi-Fi adapter. And this is the network adapter. So that's what I want to change. So I'm going to right-click on this, like this, and go to Properties. Now, under Properties, I'm going to select Internet Protocol version 4. So you can either double-click on that, and it's going to open this one up. Notice how anytime I have to change a camera, I have to change my IP address to match the camera, and after that, I'm going to change back, and it's just going back and forth. But under default circumstances, I know the IP address that I'm working with. The ideal IP address that I'm working with is going to be on the 192.168. Where is that? Touch, right. Where is that, Christian?
Which one?
Right.
What?
It's not there. That's the tool bag, right?
Yeah.
It disappeared on me. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I used to be here. No. Sorry?
Were you already on it? Click it again.
No, don't worry about it. So anyway, from here, I already have the 55. And that is just what I want my laptop to be on all the time. But every camera that I take is going to have a different IP address. But my 55.3, I want it to remain the same. So when I click on Advanced right here, I'm able to add multiple IP addresses here. Now, what I noticed was that the camera that we are looking at right now was the one with the GSD was 192.168.1. So the network that we're looking at is the one network. So what I'm able to do is I have a 192.168.1. I can change that to a different number. The 254 is also fine. You can decide to edit it and just change it. Let's say we change it to 55. Doesn't matter because that one was 1.10. I just want to make sure that we're on the same network and say, okay. So now this 1.55 is also there. I can go and click on add and add another IP address. So I can type 192.168.4.66 if that's another IP address I wanted to add. And as soon as I click on the subnet mask, it's going to populate for me. Because that's a class C. What if I change this to a 10.10. something? It's going to tell me what class of IP address that is. Let's take a look. I'm going to do the 10. So I put a 10.10.24.6. When I click on here, it's a class A. And as a result, it's only the 255 that got populated, etc., etc. So you can click add, and that gets added to your list of IP addresses here. Where is that? So that's it on the bottom here, 10.10.24.6. And I have the next IP, 192.168.1.55. And I have another IP, 192.168.55.3. So these are the three network addresses that I have on my laptop. So I'm going to say OK, and say OK again, and OK. At this point, I want to make sure that I am communicating with this device here. So I can just open a web browser and try and type it. But I always like to work in steps. So the first thing is I want to make sure that I have a ping communication. So I go to the search bar again and I type the CMD, which is the command prompt, and hit enter. It's going to give me that DOS screen. And what I'm going to type is, I'm going to type PING, which stands for ping, and I'm going to put a space and the IP address, 192.168.1.10. I'm going to do a continuous ping, so I'm going to do a space -T. And I'm going to hit enter. You notice that I'm getting a response back, just telling me that the camera is online. So the next thing I can do is I can go to a web browser and type in that IP address, 192.168.1.10. And
asking 192.168.4.66. Where is it coming from when our PC is 192.168.53.3?
no, so I just gave you that IP address just to say hypothetically, if you had another device on the 4 network and instead of switching back and forth, you could put multiple IP addresses. So let's say I was working on this camera. And I had another video recorder that was the 55.2. But I had a second video recorder that was on the 4 network. And there were, I'm trying to multitask. I want to do some cameras on the 55, and the next one I'm programming on the 4. So instead of switching, if I took this camera and that was going on the 4 network, I could just configure it and connect to it. And that's just pretty much what it was. Or let's say that the 4 network was the one that had my network connection, my internet connection. And I had only one computer with a network port. But I had to connect to a Wi-Fi router or a hardwired router that was going to give me an IP address that is going to allow me to connect to the internet to download the software. Remember that if you have a laptop and the Wi-Fi is not working, or you go to an office environment and they do not have a Wi-Fi capability, and the IT guy says, I can provide you with a hardwired connection to the internet, but their IP address is different. You want to still be able to use that same one network port to do that. This is a good place that you can put that IP address, right? If you want to know more about how to add multiple about this, they have a lot of YouTube videos, and I'm not just going to bore you on trying to explain something that someone has already explained before. So let's dig deep into these cameras. I can still ping it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a web browser, and I'm going to type that IP address in there, 192.168.1.10, and I'm going to hit enter. It took me to that web page, and that is the legend thing. For me to be able to proceed from here, I need to know what that IP address is. I believe Legend has a default IP password of 12345. Is that correct?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, okay. So the default password for Legend is 123456. So I can just go here and I'll type that in. Admin and the password 123456. And I'm going to hit login. This is one of the things that the risk that a lot of people do take. I'm not a big fan of cameras that have default IP addresses. If you have a technician who is lazy, he's not going to change the passwords, and it's going to stay 123456. He's just going to program these cameras, add them to the video recorder, and walk away. So when I walk in, the first thing I'm going to try is 123456. All right, so just stay away from it. Now, this is the camera, the Legend camera. I'm able to log in, and we can see whatever the camera feed is, right? This is an amazing camera. It's got the corridor format. You can do so many things with that. It's got two-way audio. It got the speaker. It's got a microphone. It's got some alarm zones on this. It's got audio input, audio output, etc. This has got a whole lot to this one. And it's got the micro SD card on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into setup mode. And under setup, this is where I get to change the IP address. So what I'm going to look for is the network. Right? You notice that the interfaces look pretty much similar. So I'm going to click on network from here. And that is the default IP address here. Remember, it's set to DHCP. So I want to turn DHCP off before I even do anything else. So I uncheck that. So I have unchecked it. It tells me the IP address, the MAC address, subnet MAC, gateway, everything. I want this to be 55.12. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this to 55.12. And once I do that, I have to click on save. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. There is a save here. Now I got, what did I, so yeah, let's see IP conflict. Let's check to see if there's a conflict. So it's checking to see if there is any other device on it. And it says right down there that there is no conflict. I'm going to do it again. So we're going to see that message is going to pop up. And it's going to say whether there was a conflict or not. Let's take a look. So now it's just trying to see if there's another one. It's going to pop down here and tell me there is no conflict, which means I'm good. That IP address that I chose was a good IP address.
Yeah, it came.
Yeah, so no conflict. So because we're doing a couple of them, I'm going to take this camera and I just want to be sure. So underneath it here, I'm just going to put .12. So I know. Yesterday we programmed this one to be .11. So we're continuing to program them. The next one I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a random camera again and we'll go through the same process. I'm going to do 4 of them and we're going to add them to the video recorder INC. This is another camera. It's made by a company called GSD. So same process. Go on the internet, type GSD IP camera utility, and it's going to show up. Oh wait, the net not one device. What is it? Let me just confirm to see if the IP address changed. No, it did not change. Let's see if let me go back here. I just saw that the ping was still. Okay, so here was, check this, and I have to, leave that on adaptive. I changed that one. I have to change this one again to 55.12 and have to hit save. Sometimes you might want to be able to change this one. It's some of the cameras, right? They want you to put in a MAC address and a DNS. If you leave it blank, it's not going to work. So I just have to save this one again and see. Change IP or subnet mask, need to log in, need to log device with a new IP, continue. I say okay. And let's see, because once it does that, the IP address and the ping should stop. So let's look at the ping again. That's just what caught my attention. I'm going back to look at the ping. CMD. Go back here. I'm going to go ping 192.168.55.12-T. Okay, so yeah, this is changed to .12. And the IP utility is going to confirm, the one from Inaccess is going to confirm that it's changed to 12. Let's search it and see. Good. 55.12. It's no longer 1.10. So I've been able to change that to 12. The next is I picked up the GSD, and we'll go through the same process. Go on Google, find out what the GSD IP utility is. I know that that one is called, we downloaded it here. And it's called the Discovery Tool. So you go to their website, you download it, you go through the same process, right? Right-click, run it as administrator. It would ask you, do you want to make changes? I say yes. So GSD, Global Surveillance Distribution Group. Yes, and as soon as that comes, look, it tells me what the camera IP address is. It's a 10.0.0.6. The media port is 9,000. Web port is 80. It gives me a whole lot of information. Subnet mask, gateway, all that stuff. So again, now this is on the 10 network. What I have to do for my laptop is I have to change my laptop to this IP address, the 10.0.0, but the last digit, mine should be maybe a 7 or 8. So that's what I'm going to do. Or you can also change it from here. When you click on this, you could also do the batch one. You could start from here, start IP and all that stuff, right? But what I want to show you is let's go through that process instead of just using the config tool. What you can do is when you click on config, you can put in the IP address, you can put in the web port, put in the username and password, and you could apply it and log in and do all that changes. But first of all, I'm going to go to my control panel and again, change adapter settings. Go here, properties, and then IP version 4. Now, under this one, I'm going to go to the advanced, and if I had multiple of this GSD one, it would make sense for me to come here and add an IP address. So here I can add another one, so I don't have to keep switching. I'll do a 10.0.0.8. This is the IP address that I'm assigning to my laptop. The one for the camera was 10.0.0.6. So they're all on the same network, but different host. I click on here, it's a class A, so it's just going to populate that one, and I click add. And OK. OK, OK, and OK. Close. So at this point, what I can just do is I'm going to run a ping utility again. So this is my ping. I'm going to do a Control-C to terminate this ping. What I'm going to ping is ping 10.0.0.6. This is the IP address of the GSD camera that we just found, this one. I'm going to put a -T. So something is not pinging. So right away, you know how it tells you it's not pinging. So we have to make sure that the camera is initialized. Okay, so the camera is not initialized. So it's saying false. So you have to put a check mark there and you have to try and initialize it. And then on the bottom right, it tells you there is an initialization button there. The username, the admin is going to be here. You have the username, you have the password, and you can set IP camera passwords as well. And when you hit initialize, you can see its status is initializing, but it still says false. Why is that so? Because I haven't met the conditions. I'm going to change the password. I'm going to put a new password to meet those conditions. So I'm going to put training at 13, capital TRAINING at 13. And I'm going to do the same thing here, capital TRAINING at 13. And set camera password. Set IP camera password. This is going to use the password that I've used, and when I'm using the plug and play on that NVR, it's going to use that password. So let's try and initialize it again and see. Let's see if it's going to go through. So now it's changed to device is activated. So what GSD does is they do not allow you to use the default password. They force you to initialize it and put in a strong password. Without that, you cannot. So here, you can double click on it from here to take you to that camera page, which is 10.0.0.6, and it's trying to log in. Remember, we changed the password. So when the prompt comes, I have to put in the new password that I used. Oh, it couldn't reach this This one. So let's see why it couldn't reach it. It says check the proxy firewall. Let's go back and see what happened. Still could not. So there are a few things we have to check to make sure. The web port is 80, so that's fine. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to change it from here to static. And so what I did is I went to the network and changed it from DHCP to static. And I'm just going to modify it from here. What I could also do is I could put in the new IP address that I wanted to change. So I could change it from here. Or I could log into the camera and I could also change it. If, for example, this one, you're doing a lot of them, and instead of going to each one, the web browser, what you could also do from here is you could put in that IP address that you wanted it to be. So I could change this from here to be a 192.168. Let me go back. 192.168.55.13. Because this is camera number 3, and that is going to be .13. So I can put that IP address in here, and I have to make sure that the password is correct. So I'm going to type in that password I used is training @13. That was the password I used to activate it. And once that is done, I'm going to hit the modify on the button there and see if it's going to modify it. If it didn't modify it and I did a search, this number should change to whatever I modified it to. So let's do a search again and see if that has changed. No, it still did not change. So I have to go through that process again. So click on that here. I'm going to, this one here. Oops. Start IP 192.168.55.13. And web port is 80. That's just what I'm doing. And let's see if that is going to make that modification. And again, you notice that every camera manufacturer is different because they don't want it to sound like they just copied someone's camera and just use the copyright issues. So when they take it, they make it a little bit. But once you understand the whole concept behind IP addressing and how to use the tool, it is pretty straightforward. So let's see if it did the change. I'm going to refresh it again and see if that change was effected. No, that change is, it doesn't seem to like it. Let's go to config and see. No, I changed the password to training @13. But for whatever reason, when I apply it, it's still not changing. Okay, let's go back and see. Yeah, it's not even connecting to it. Let me try it one more time. So yeah, this is that one here, and yeah. So this one here, I'm just going to type the password in again. So it's TRAINING @13. I type that in. This is the IP address that I'm going to put it at. And the web port is 80, the static. So, and I hit modify. Let's see if that works, if it's going to like it. It says it's waiting, status is waiting. So these are some of the problems you would encounter on the field as a technician. It's not going to be all easy sailing, and every day it presents a different challenge. No, it wouldn't have to do with subnet mask because it popped out. Right, let's put that in 255.0.0.0. And I'm going to put the gateway as well, 192.168.55.1. And the media port was 9,000 for this one.
You didn't change the password for IPCA?
No, that was just, if I wanted the IP cam to use that password, that's what I was going to use. Let's see, I used the username and password for training at 1.3. So let's see if this is going to do it. Hopefully it likes this one. Okay, so it's taken it finally. So it takes you a couple of tries to do it. What it was just looking for was it wanted me to put in the gateway and all those other things for it to go. But most important thing is I've been able to change it from the 10.0.0.6 to a 192.168.55.13. So sometimes you have to give it a couple of tries first. And so I have been able to change this to the 13. And underneath here, I'm just going to put .13 so that it's easy for us to remember. I'm going to do this for one more camera, and we're going to see how we can add all these different types of cameras, these different brands of cameras, from the Hikvision to the Legend to the GSD to TP-Link, how we are able to add this to a Hikvision video recorder. That's just pretty much the whole idea. Because yesterday we found out that if you connected them directly to the back of the NVR, it wasn't going to work because they were not made by Hikvision. The last one is the TP-Link, and we know that yesterday we were looking at it, and TP-Link had an IP utility called VG what? VG config. So again, you are going to go on the internet and look for the VG configuration tool, the IP configuration tool, just the exact same process. I hope that by the time we've done 4 of them already, but you're getting to see a pattern on all the cameras. So when students come in class, they're working with 14 plus camera brands. Like these are some of the cameras too that they work with. This is also from Vivotech, 14 different camera brands. By the time you go programming each and every one, you become an expert in programming IP cameras. It becomes like a no-brainer. You understand it right away. So we have to, most of these softwares that we're talking about, because we use them in class, I have them already downloaded and installed. So the one for TP-Link is the VG config tool. It's here. I'm just going to go there and right-click and run it because we already have it installed. And I'm going to run it as administrator. And it's going to show us how many VG cameras we have. Because I'm running it as administrator, it's always going to ask me this. And it's going to open all the available features for me. Now that is going to run it, and it's going to show it up here. So it's initializing the software. Once it's done, it will tell me all the VG cameras that are on my network. All right, so this is it. We're going to try and see what other cameras are on the network. There is nothing showing up. So I have to click on refresh to see if it's going to send up broadcast again. Refresh. Still nothing. Going to right click sorry, we're going to double click it again and get it to keep sending that broadcast. It's interesting. Sometimes you have to check in case we have the antivirus turned on or firewall is turned on or something. So all I can also do is go back to control panel. This is part of the troubleshooting as a technician that you have to do. So if you notice that, oh, all firewalls are turned off, so that shouldn't be the issue. If you notice that you want to become a camera technician and your computer strength is not that good, I'd encourage you to learn a little bit more of computing, because most of the problems that you would be troubleshooting on the job site is Windows related. You'll be spending more time troubleshooting Windows than actually troubleshooting cameras. I know very well that I have this camera and it's connected to the switch. I can even touch it and feel that it's warm. But for whatever reason, it is not showing up. I'm going to keep refreshing and see. Anytime I refresh, it sends a broadcast. Still nothing. What I'm going to do is sometimes just by restarting the computer and launching that program again, it's going to come up. It could be also because I have used multiple client softwares, that could also be interfering with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close everything, exit, and restart my computer. Sometimes that's the only way you can get these things resolved. So I'm going to do shut down, restart. At this point, I'm not troubleshooting cameras. I am troubleshooting Windows, right? So don't ever give up. You have to have the mindset of trying different things as and when it deems possible. So I'm going to wait for the laptop to reboot. And I'm going to connect again and see if we're going to have it come up. What I do have is I have one of these from TP-Link, and I have another one from here from TP-Link. So I have this one from TP-Link, and I have this one from TP-Link as well. So two of them. The idea is to see two cameras pop up. So let's go. Let me log back into this and let's see. All right, so I'm going to run this as administrator again. Right click, run as administrator. It's going to ask me, do I want to allow this? I would say yes. And it's going to go through that. And let's see if we're going to have something pop up this time. Still nothing. Refresh. That's strange. I'm going to select, I'm going to go on their website again, but this is the IP utility. Let's see what I have here. Devices discovered 2. So let's see what is here. It's hiding down here. Okay, there you go. So it was hiding down there. So it discovered 2 of the items here. So I have one of them, and it just shows me that it's a dome. I cannot zoom in, unfortunately. One of them is a dome, one of them is a bullet. It gives me the device name. One is the VGC445 1.0. That one is initialized. This, it gives me the IP address. That IP address is a 192.168.18.5. And the port is 443, and it gives me the MAC address. The next one is the Insight S345 1.0-5525. That one is not initialized. And also it gives me that IP address. So it's a 192.168.254.38. So the IP utility just helps me to know what it is. I'm going to work with the first one. So what I'm going to do is, again, I have to go to control panel on my computer. You see how the process is just repetitive. So config, a control panel, that is there. And then I'm going to go and change my networks adapter. That's just pretty much what we're going, back and forth, back and forth. Change adapter settings, and I'm going to change that one to match 192.168.18.5. Instead of 5, I'm going to make my laptop maybe 6, 7, 8, 9, any other number. So I'm going to go to properties and change that. Either I change this one, or I can go into advanced and change one of the ones that I had in there. That's just all I could do. So this 1.55, I could end up hitting edit and changing that to what? An 18 dot, a different number. I'll say 18.55. That still works for me. Save that, say OK. OK here, and OK again. Now, most of these utilities, they allow you to change the IP addresses from the IP config tool. So, for example, I'm doing this 18.5. You can click on that from here, and you can do some modifications to it from here. So when I click on configure network on that corner, I can come here and I can put in the IP address. First of all, I need to know what the IP address of that camera is. If I don't, then chances are I would want to default this camera. I'm going to take off these screws and I'm going to hit the reset button, and it's going to reset it to factory default, and then I can use the default password, or I can put in a new password. Since we use this in class a lot, the students tend to use one password, and I'm going to try that password and see. What I would like to do with that is I just open Internet Explorer and try and log into that with the password that I know, 192.168.18.5. Okay, it says this connection is not private. And I said, yeah, I know that I want to go there, so I'm going to click on advanced and say proceed anyway. Continue to 192.1. It's saying it's unsafe because all these camera softwares use the broadcast and all those stuff. So it just wants to make sure that you know exactly what you're doing. So I go in there and it's going to ask me for a username and password. I'm going to put in admin and I'm going to put in the password that I know. So it's ADMIN, and I'm going to put the password is training at, and I'm going to try and log in. That was the correct password. So it logged me in. This is that camera. This one here. It's asking, do I want to save the password in the browser? I say not now. So this is this camera here. So once I'm logged in, I could go in and change the settings. So by going into settings from here, I could do that. And I could go into settings and I could find network. And this is network settings. So the same concept that we did, go here, network settings, and I'm going to change this number from 18.5 to 55.14 because the last camera we did was 13. So I want this one to be 55.14. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 55.14, and I'm going to save it. Now let's look at the subnet mask. I'm just going to change that to 55.1 to make the system happy. And I'm going to save it. Remember that the DHCP is off. It has to be on static IP address. So I click on save on the bottom, and then it's going to save. Once it's saved, I'm going to try and do a ping and see. So ping, P-I-N-G. space 192.168.55.14. Continuous ping, T, enter. Okay, so it's pinging, which means my IP address has been successfully changed. That is good. So at this point, I have been able to add 4 different camera brands. I've been able to change the IP address. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the NVR interface and see how I can add all these cameras to it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the NVR in so that we can also see it and see how we can add it. I can do the same thing from my laptop. I'm going to use my laptop to log into the NVR because it's also connected to the same switch. And I can do that. But let's go to the NVR. So this is the HDMI. I'm going to connect it to that, and we'll try and get that on the screen. So a couple of things. Let's take a look. Set the resolution to achieve better. Yes, I want to set a better resolution. And I'm going to say apply. It's going to try the new resolution. And let's see. If I don't get nothing displayed, it's going to revert to the old one. It's going to just revert to whatever it was. So I am going to log into the NVR. Yesterday we logged into the NVR using the password training at 12. So capital T. And I'm just going to turn this on so we can see. So lowercase RAINING at 13. That was the password we used. So it's correct. And I'm going to hit enter and say login. Now we're logged in. No cameras are displaying. So I'm going to right click, use the right click on the thing to go into the menu options. So that is the menu. And you can go there, or you can go to cameras as well. Right? So when you come to cameras, this is what you're going to be seeing in there. What we want to do is we want to start adding the cameras. So the first camera is going to be the Hikvision camera. We set this one to an IP address of 192.168.55.11. So what I want to do for that one is I want to select channel number D1, and I want to modify it using this edit thing to modify. So I click on edit. It is being set for plug and play. But at this time, I'm not doing plug and play. I'm doing manual adding because it's not connected to that. So first thing I want to do is change this to manual adding. And I'm able to change this IP address. I know this camera has an IP address of 11. Yes, we programmed this one yesterday. So 192.168.55.11. That's what I'm going to put here. I'm going to delete this and put .55.11. And I'm going to hit enter. The protocol is Hikvision. Because the video recorder is Hikvision and the camera is Hikvision, it's easy. I'm going to select a Hikvision protocol. And the management port for Hikvision is 8000. So that is there. I'm going to use channel port number 1. Transfer protocol is auto. Now the username is there, admin. I have to put the password of this camera in here. So we're going to see something here. So I'm going to put that password in here. So it was a training, capital T, RAINING at 13. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to say, OK. Now, look at this. If on this video recorder, when you're activating it, it's going to ask you for the camera activation password. If I put it there, I could put a check mark here, and it's going to use that password that I used during activation, and it's going to use that password to activate this camera. So I say, OK. And now that should change. And once that changes and it connects, I want to see that this would change once it establishes connectivity. We're going to see if that is going to change. And if it doesn't change, I'm going to show you why it's not changing. Because remember, for this camera to connect to that NVR, they have to be on the same network. And that's something that we're going to see. You see it's not connecting, so you're going to say, what happened? But let's go to the camera IP address and see. Under network, let's see what that IP address is. This is set to 55.2. And this is my network video recorder. Let's take a look at it. This is it. What can you tell me? On the back here, the LAN port that I have, it's not connected. And as a result, nothing is going to happen. You can see it from here. So for me to allow this camera to record here, I'm going to grab one of the patch cables that I have, and I'm going to connect it to the back of the video recorder into the LAN port. And I'll take the other end and connect it to my switch. Remember, the rule number one is physical connectivity. So even though my IP address is correct, when I go to the cameras, here, oh look, it's even automatically discovered some cameras for me. Now let's see, all of a sudden this changed to a check mark of green, which means there's communication, and that is fantastic. If I should go on live view right now, because I selected camera number D1, thank you. If I selected camera number D1, I should be able to see the camera there. So let's go to live view and see. That is it, camera number 1, it's already popped up. When I double click on it, it's already there. This one, I can see the image. So that's how it is for you to add that camera to this feature. So let's try it for the next camera. So again, this is the second one. You can click on this, or you can go into that same settings. Here there is nothing, so you go to configuration, and you go to cameras. Now I go to the camera number 2. I'm going to put a check mark here, or you can hit edit from here. It's also set to plug and play. You're going to make that same changes to a manual add. The second camera is this one from in-access. Remember, I did not change the in-access password to training at something. I left it at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you always have to remember. So here, I'm going to change this one to .55.12. And I'd say enter, and I'd say OK. But because this is not a Hikvision camera, I cannot select the Hikvision protocol. Let's look at something. I'm going to leave it as Hikvision, and I'm going to put the password in here. We're all learning to see what the result is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put that password, I hit enter, and I say OK. So let's see if it's going to connect. The network is unreachable. Fault recommendation. So I'm not able to connect using the Hikvision protocol. Let's go and I'll change it from here and select a different protocol and see from here. I'm going to select ONVIF. If you're lucky and Hikvision integrates with the specific camera, just as it integrates with a lot of them like Acti, Aerocant, Axis, Bosch, Bridgecom, all these ones that are here, you have to select that same protocol. And then your camera might be compatible. From here, I don't have anything that is legend. So let's hope that it can use the ONVIF protocol. So I'm going to select ONVIF and select OK and see if that ONVIF is going to work. Like I also said yesterday, some of the cameras you have to go into the software and enable ONVIF for that camera to work. So let's give it some time and see if that is going to come up. So whilst we're waiting for that to come up, you're going to go and do the same thing for camera number 3. And you're going to modify it and do the same thing. So this is plug and play. That changed that. I'm going to change this to 55 dot what? 11, 12, 13. Enter. Say OK. This is ONVIF. But look at this. It's changing the port to which one was camera number? This is the one from GSD, right? That's 13. So GSD is number 13. I have to put that here. You know, you don't change. Once you select ONVIF, you let it do whatever it's supposed to do there for you, right? When you select ONVIF, where is it? ONVIF. Here, the port is 80, and I'm going to put the password there. So this was training at 12. So capital T, R-A, turn it all on, and let's see. I-N-I-N-G at 12. Sorry, at 13. That's what we used. I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to say OK. Let's see if that is going to come up as well. Oh, see, that one came up right away just by using ONVIF. Some of these ones, like the Legend, probably I have to go into the camera and I have to go and enable ONVIF. Without me going into the camera and enable ONVIF, that camera might not come up. And that's why it's always good to have your laptop also connected. So this way you can log into it. Then you're going to add camera number 4. So same thing, same concept that you were doing. You go modify, and we are going to select this to manual. Change that to 55.14. And I'm going to select ONVIF again, and I'm going to put the password in here. This password, it was training at 12. TR, let's see, TRAI and ING at 12. That was what that password for the VG was. So I'm going to hit enter and say OK. See, it just popped up right away. So you see how easy it is for some of the cameras just to pop up, and some of them you have to do. So now at this one, if I want to troubleshoot this camera, even though my IP address is right and all that, I will still have to. Sometimes I also like to play with it and look.
Some guys are saying you didn't put password on D2.
I put a password on D2. So password on D2, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember that? So I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or did I forget? Let's see. Enter. Because remember, with this one, the default password was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I didn't change it. So I put it there now. Let's say OK and see. Oh, there it is. It just came up. So now I have all 4 cameras up. Let's go to the live view and take a look. So here I have 4 cameras that are lined up here. And just by going to the number of streams, where can I find that? Double click this, and we have all the cameras. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. You can also go in and change the camera arrangement. And where is that? I go to Windows Divisions, and I can split it into a 3x3, and I have this. So all the cameras that are there are showing up. So this is camera number 2. We can see that, right? And I grab camera number 3. That's camera number 3, and that was the GSD one. So here, double click that. This is the GSD. Still got a plastic on it. And then finally, I have camera number 4, which is this one from TP-Link. That's this one here. So that is how straightforward, if you know what you're doing, to add different brands of cameras using the ONVIF protocol or that exact same protocol, and then you can just add them as and when. We went through the same process using the IP utility, download it, change the IP address, make sure you document it, change the username and password, and then you come into that and you add them one at a time. All right, so it's 5:15. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. If you learned something, give us a follow. This entire week, we are going on Instagram. Do you have the name of the winner that we picked from Instagram?
No, we'll pick up next week once you get the 500 followers.
Oh, so the rules have changed?
Yeah.
So what is the rules?
The rules like once you get 500 followers, we'll pick.
How many followers do we have now?
400 something.
Oh, so we do not get on Instagram, so we have to hit 500?
Yeah.
No, that's not going to be fair today, guys. It's not going to be fair because I told them that we're picking someone up on Friday.
Today?
Yeah, I said we're going to, and my word is my word.
Okay.
So if
it's Robert's hand if he's here. So
Robert's son,
Robert's hand.
Robert's hand. How do you spell that?
ROBOTS.
ROBERT?
Yeah, ROBOTS.
ROBOTS. Okay, so let's see. Folks, that's Jun. He's the one managing this, and he said we had to hit the 500 views on Instagram. When he went on Instagram, he said we were almost just there. So you guys, let's hit the 500 views.
No, followers.
Oh, sorry, the 500 followers. What do we have on Instagram right now? Who can tell me?
7 something.
What do we have?
408.
No, some guys are saying like if you record and put on YouTube, these classes are already on YouTube. Somebody.
Oh yeah, we put all these classes that we do, we put them on YouTube. So if you had someone who, can you log into this phone? When you had someone who wasn't able to participate in class, or you guys wanted to go back and look at it step by step, you are able to. Can we go on Instagram whilst we are all here? Today is Friday, guys. I know some of you might be having your favorite beverage. Whilst you're doing this and there's music going on, just go to Instagram now. How many guys do we have on live now?
161.
Okay, so we have 161. 161 of us. We can do that 500 number right now, right? So if 161, if we all decide to go to Instagram now, let's see, pull up the Instagram. Let me see the numbers start to go up. Show me some love. Each and every one of you watching, show me love. Let's go to Instagram. Okay, let's all go to Instagram.
411 now.
All right, so let's do this. I'm going to wait. We can hit that number. There's a lot more coming. We got a series of trainings coming up. So let's see, Delmi Training. I want to see that number go up. Okay, so we're at 411. Let's see, let's do it, guys. We have 160. We have 160 something active followers on TikTok right now.
430 now.
Okay, thank you all the guys who are following. And you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to pick someone who followed today. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to pick someone who followed today. As soon as we hit the 500 mark, and that person is going to win that class $2,000 value. That's what I'm going to do. This is my bonus for you. It's Friday. Okay, so here we go. The numbers are going at 416. I know you can do it. We are going to pick someone who followed today. I guarantee you.
Maybe tell them to leave their Instagram handle.
No, we can see. Instagram will tell you who followed today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, these are just like new guys.
yeah, so all the new guys that followed. As soon as we hit that 500 mark, I'm picking up a new winner. It's going to be random.
418 now.
Okay, let's keep going.